Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Yato Anvayaditaratascha Artheshu Abhigyaswarat Tene Brahmahridaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yathavinimayo Yatratra Sargo Mrisha Dhamna Swena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Nigamakalpataror Galitam Palam Shukamukad Amritadrava Sanyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. We now enter the second chapter of the 10th Skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. 10th Skandha is, as already noted, the most glorious cream of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the crown jewel of all scriptures, and 10th Skandha is the crown jewel of Bhagavatam. 10th Skandha is called Nirodha Skandha. Nirodha means that which stops the mind. So every Skandha had a particular topic, and the topic of 10th Skandha as a whole is Nirodha Skandha, which is a very interesting topic because the whole Skandha is about the Leela of Krishna, and it gives the details of every single pastime of Krishna. And the beauty of that is simply listening to all these stories simply stops the mind. All the effort that one makes to still the mind with meditation and yoga and all the rest is accomplished very easily and effortlessly by listening to this skandha, because such is the glory of 10th skandha, and that is why it's called Nirodha Skandha. So we enter the second chapter. We already saw that Devaki and Vasudeva were imprisoned by Kamsa, and the 6 sons were killed by Kamsa, and now he is also on the prowl to kill and to imprison and to torture all the Yadus, because he has been told that many of the Yadus are actually demigods who have come, and their purpose is to kill Kamsa and all the demon kings. So he takes the help of various demon friends of his. These are all characters which will eventually be seen in this Kandha: Pralamba, Bakasura, Chanura, Trinavrita, Aghasura, Mushtika, Arishta, Dviveda, Putana, Keshi, Dhenuka, Bana, Bhauma, Jarasandha. All of these characters, they are all the bad people of this era. They are increasing in their power. They are all asuras, that is, demons and demonic kings, and their powers are increasing, and they are torturing the regular people, and especially Yadus, and their adharma, their unrighteous ways are gaining more and more intensity. So this is the exact right environment for Bhagavan to appear, as he mentions in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita: Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. As the dharma, the righteousness, is going down and adharma is increasing, I manifest to reset the order, is what he says. And that's exactly what's happening, because all of these are causing a lot of havoc there. And because of that, all the Yadus are running in different directions. Some are going to the Kuru land. Kuru land is Kurukshetra, Panchala, Vidarbha, Videha, different parts of Bharat. They are running, they are essentially becoming refugees. Because of the persecution of the Yadus are running out as refugees. There are a few who remain faithful there, and they are somehow trying to be in the good books of Kamsa, because some of them are just being sycophants of Kamsa, but some of them are actually devotees who are just there in disguise as if they are serving Kamsa, because they are very keen. Those who are really aware, Akrura is an example. Akrura is there in Mathura. Akrura is the grand uncle of Krishna, as already seen in the end of 9th Skandha, and he is very devoted to Krishna, and yet he stays as a loyal servant of Kamsa, just in disguise, because he knows that Krishna is going to appear and he doesn't want to miss it. So there are some like Akrura who remain close to Kamsa as if they are on the side of Kamsa, but inwardly they are devoted to Krishna, and some who are truly simply sycophants of Kamsa, and the remaining Yadus are running away as refugees. When this situation is there, and after the 6 boys have been cruelly killed by Kamsa, at this point it is said a ray of Bhagavan, a partial manifestation of Bhagavan, who is Lord Ananta, that is Balaram, he enters the womb of Devaki. It says here, Saptamo Vaishnavam Dhama Yam Anantam Prachakshate Garbho Babhuva Devakya Harsha Shoka Vivardhanaha. So, a ray of Bhagavan, Vishnu, enters Devaki. He is known as Ananta, he is Sesha, he is the essential form of the Guru Tattva as well. And therefore, the symbolism also is after the 6 sons are killed, and the 6 represent the 6 sins Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. When the 6 are eliminated, then appears the Guru and then follows Bhagavan. So there is the symbolism of that. And so Balaram is the Guru Tattva. He is Ananta Sesha, and therefore he is appearing as the 7th child. And it is said that Devaki is both delighted and grieving at the same time, because naturally, as a mother, she is delighted to have a son in her womb, but also she is grieving because she knows he is also going to be probably killed by Kamsa. That's what she fears. And in this time, it is said that the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, the soul of the universe, he commanded Yogamaya. So Yogamaya is the feminine energy, the transcendent energy of yoga that keeps the order of the universe, that makes everything possible, that is responsible for all activities in the universe. That's Yogamaya. So Bhagavan, it is said, he commands Yogamaya. It says, Bhagavan api Vishwatma viditva kamsajam bhayam yadunam nijanathanam yogamayam samadishat. So, perceiving the fear of all the Yadus, perceiving the rise of the calamity, the rise of unrighteousness, perceiving the whole situation, and with Balaram having already entered the womb of Devaki, he commands Yogamaya. He says, O good goddess, you proceed to Vraja now. Vraja is Vrindavan. There is Rohini, who is the wife of Vasudeva. She is in the village of Gokula, and this is a beautiful village which is enriched by cowherds and lot of cows. And there she is hiding there because she is the wife of Vasudeva, but she is in the village of Gokul, hiding from Kamsa. So you now go there. As you know, in the womb of Devaki is my own part manifestation called Sesha. So you take this out of Devaki and place him in the womb of Rohini. So this is what he first gives as the first instruction. He says, Gacha Devi Vrajam Bhadre Gopa Gobir Alankritam. O Devi, O goddess Yogamaya, you go now to Gokulam, Vrajam, which is decorated by cows and cowherd boys. Rohini Vasudevasya Bharya Aste Nanda Gokule. In Nanda's Gokula is Rohini, who is the wife of Vasudeva. And there he says, you go and take the womb of Devaki and transfer it to Rohini. He says, Devakya Jhatare Garbham Sheshakyam Dhama Mamakam. In Devaki's womb, Jhatare, in her stomach, Garbha, there is Shesha, which is my part manifestation, which is Balaram. He says, Tat Sannikrishya Rohinya Udare Sanniveshya. Take that, draw it out of her. So this is why he is going to be called Sankarshana. Balaram is also called Sankarshana because he says here, Sannikrishya. Draw this out of Devaki and transfer this energy into Rohini. And then he says to Yogamaya, I will then assume the role of a son for Devaki after this as the 8th son, and with my full potencies I will manifest as her son, and you go and be born as the daughter of Yashoda and Nanda. He says, Ata aham amsha bhagena devakyah putratam shubhe. prapsyami. So he says, I shall be born to Devaki with all my amsha, all my potencies. So Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, as mentioned many times. There are other avatars of Krishna we have seen. All the avatars come forth from Narayana, but Narayana appears directly as Krishna here. So he says, Yashodayam Nandapatnyam Bhavishyasi. You go, Tvam, go and appear as the daughter of Yashoda and Nanda. And by doing so, he says, you shall be worshipped by everyone, because we shall see what is the instruction to Yogamaya. He says, you will be born as the daughter of Nanda and Yashoda. I will appear as the son of Devaki, and people will worship you for the rest of time. He says, Archaishyanti Manushyastwam Sarvakama Vareshwarim. So, Bhagavan says, you shall be worshipped by men for all of posterity, and you shall be adored with many names. Very beautiful verses here, where Bhagavan himself narrates all the names of the Divine Mother. He says, you will be adored in so many names, which are all considered auspicious, and there will be so many temples and holy places erected for you, and you shall be worshipped after this pastime. He says, Namadheyani kurvanti sthanani cha narabhuvi Durgeti Bhadrakaleti Vijaya Vaishnaviti cha Kumuda Chandika Krishna Madhavi Kanyaketi cha Maya Narayani Ishani Sharade iti Ambike iti cha. All these beautiful names, it's almost like Lalita Sahasranamam is being given in short. All the glorious names of the Divine Mother are listed here. Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, Kumuda, Chandika, Krishna, Madhavi, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishani, Sharada, Ambika. All these names, Bhagavan himself gives these names. So he initiates this worship by saying, these are all your names, and you will be worshipped in all these names in many holy places. Because what you will do is, first, you will go and take the son of Devaki and transfer him to Rohini. And because you do this, he will be called as Sankarshana. So the reason is, he is drawn out of the womb of Devaki and transferred to Rohini, and therefore he will be called Sankarshana. He will also be called Rama, because he will give great pleasure to all. We saw already Raghurama, and before that we saw Parashurama. This is the third Rama, who is Balarama. And he also says he will be called Balarama because he will be possessed of immense strength. Bala means strength. So he says, Garbha Sankarshanat Tamvai Prahuhu Sankarshanam Bhuvi. He will be called Sankarshana because he is drawn out of the womb of Devaki and placed in Rohini. Rameti Loka Ramanath. He will be of great source of pleasure to the whole world, and therefore he is Rama. And Balam, Balavad Uchtraya, because he is of great power, great strength, he'll be called Balarama, Balabhadra. So he gives this instruction to Yogamaya, and of course, the beauty of the secret rather behind Krishna saying you will go and be born as the daughter of Yashoda and Nanda will come later, because when Krishna is born to Vasudeva and Devaki, at the same time Yashoda and Nanda will have the daughter, which is Yogamaya, and they will be switched, and we shall see that beautiful episode in the next chapter. But now Krishna is instructing her, Yogamaya, that you shall first go and transfer the womb of Devaki to Rohini, and then you shall go and be born as the daughter of Yashoda and Nanda, and thereby you shall be worshipped for all of posterity with all these holy names. So this is such a beautiful description of Yogamaya, and Yogamaya, it is said, she offers her obeisances to Bhagavan and goes around him as a mark of respect, and then she descends on earth to carry out whatever she was told by Bhagavan. So she takes the womb of Devaki and transfers it to Rohini, and when this happens, it is thought by everyone that Devaki has had an abortion, the child has died, and therefore the seventh child is considered by everyone to have died. Even Kamsa thinks the seventh child is dead. without knowing that the seventh child has been transferred to Rohini. It is said that Rohini was sleeping at the time. So here also it says, Garbhe pranite devakya rohinim yoga nidraya. So due to yoga nidra is the sleep which comes due to the power of yoga, which is the sleep that is like trance, when one is not aware of what's happening. It's way deeper than regular sleep even. And so Rohini was put in this yoga nidra, and Devaki was also put in this yoga nidra by Yogamaya, and the womb was transferred, and therefore Rohini, when she got up, she recognized that she was pregnant with a son, and then she gave birth, and that's how Balaram was born. Meanwhile, the Lord gets ready to appear as the eighth son. So, very beautifully, it is described here that the Lord, who is the soul of the universe and who rids everyone of all fears, he first enters the mind of Vasudeva with all his potencies. It says, Bhagavanapi Vishwatma Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha Avivesha Amshabhagena Mana Anakadundubehe. Anakadundubhi is a name of Vasudeva, and in his mind descended first the energy of Bhagavan. So, beautifully, Abhayankaraha means one who removes fear of all. Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha removes the fear of all devotees. Vishwatma, the soul of the universe. Bhagavan, he enters the mind of Vasudeva, the heart of Vasudeva, and it is said that Vasudeva is radiating now. He's shining like the sun. Everybody is seeing that Vasudeva looks so different, effulgent like the sun. And then at the right time, it is said that the energy of Vasudeva was transferred to Devaki, and Devaki conceived. At the most auspicious time, this happens, and it is said that just as the eastern sky gets the moon and shines because of that, Devaki also had the moon of Bhagavan's appearance in her, and she started now radiating. So it is said that Devaki, after conceiving Bhagavan in her womb, she started radiating, glowing like anything. And the only thing was, Shuka Brahma Rishi says here beautifully that because she was imprisoned within the four walls of the prison, hardly anyone could see this flame. And he compares it very nicely. He says, just as knowledge that is kept for oneself doesn't benefit anyone, similarly, the radiance of Devaki was at the time not benefiting anyone. So here there is the beauty of Bhagavatam is, even when examples are given, in the examples there are lessons embedded. So the lesson embedded is, when one has any knowledge, it has to be shared. If it is kept within oneself in a selfish way, or for whatever reason, and one is not sharing the knowledge, or either using the knowledge for a source of making money and not giving it freely, the whole purpose of knowledge is to be shared freely and accept any gifts that come in return, but not charge for knowledge. That is the culture of Vedic rishis. So if one instead either holds the knowledge to himself or makes it expensive and not accessible to others, it is no different from being in a prison cell and not sharing what one has. So Devaki, being in a prison cell, having the radiance of having Bhagavan within her, he gives this example that it is like a scholar having all the knowledge but not sharing it. Of course, in the case of Devaki, she did not do it out of any volition. She was kept in the prison against her will, and therefore she couldn't share this. But Kamsa saw this. So it is said that Kamsa was given this report, of course, because the jail guards saw this, and they said there is something different about Devaki because she is now radiating like nothing before. She has this uncommon luster, she has this bright smile, she has this effulgence about her. So all this report goes to Kamsa. He himself comes and sees, and now he is certain. So because this is the eighth child, he killed the six children and he thought he was on the right track. The seventh one slipped out of him without even he knowing. He thought the seventh is died. Of course, Balaram is born with Rohini in Gokul. He didn't know about it. But the eighth is what was prophesied to be his end. And now he says it looks like Hari is entered her womb because she was never like this before. And now he is very confused. He doesn't know what to do because he has killed six, and seventh is also gone from his perspective. So he thinks, on the one hand, I can wait for the eighth to come and then kill the eighth child. But then he has his doubts, because if the eighth child is truly as prophesied and the eighth child comes and immediately results in his death, then there will be no opportunity for him to kill. But then he convinces himself that that's not possible, because the eighth child, as soon as it appears, I will be there immediately. And what can he do? And on the other hand, he contemplates whether I should just kill Devaki right now. But then he thinks, six children I have killed. They have been very truthful. Vasudeva has been very truthful. He has given me every child, and I have killed all six of them. So now for me to unfairly kill her would not be right. So he is contemplating in all these ways. He is confused totally, and he is, because of this, it is said that he was walking like a dead man while breathing, and he was literally consumed by the thought of Krishna every moment. So he was, because of his fear, it is said that every single moment he was thinking of this eighth child who is going to be born, who is Krishna. So it is said here nicely, while sitting, while lying down, while standing, while taking his food, while walking, every moment he was thinking of Krishna, and he was seeing the world full of Krishna. So this is the unique blessing of Kamsa even. We'll see the verse first. It says, Asinaha samvishan tishtan bunjanah paryatan mahim chintayano hrishikesham apashyat tanmayam jagat. The whole world was seen as filled with Hrishikesha, who is Krishna, Narayana, and he couldn't let go of this thought, of course, because he was mortified. He thought he is going to die when this boy comes, and then but he doesn't know what to do. He is confused. His counselors are giving him different advices. So he is essentially completely caught in this single thought of Krishna, though in a negative way. So interestingly, as we may remember in the seventh Skandha, Narada said, many people attain liberation in different ways, and he gave the example of Kamsa as one who attained liberation simply through enmity. And that is what here Kamsa represents. Because of his intense enmity to Krishna, he couldn't shake off the thought of Krishna even for a single moment. And that is in fact a unique blessing of Kamsa, because he will be eventually killed and liberated. And that happens because of his unique position of being consumed with Krishna every single moment, as it is mentioned here. Meanwhile, as we saw, Devaki is radiating with this presence of Bhagavan within her, and she is still not been revealed this truth. Vasudeva and Devaki know something special is happening, because first of all, there is the prophecy that the eighth child will kill Kamsa. This is the eighth child, and they are both completely different, and they can feel it. So to confirm all this, it is said that Brahma himself comes there to their prison cell in a mystical form, along with all the devatas, and he offers one of the most beautiful prayers to Krishna, who is in the womb, and thereby also confirming to Devaki and Vasudeva that you are actually going to be the father and mother of the Supreme Being. So first he begins by saying, we are here to offer our obeisances to truth. It's the most beautiful verse. He says, we have come here to surrender to truth. See, this is the way Brahma describes Krishna here. And first, I'll read the verse, because the word Satyam is the word for truth in Sanskrit. And how many times this word is used in different ways makes this verse one of the most quotable verses of Bhagavatam. He says, Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye Satyasya Satyam Ritasatya Netram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapannaha. Such a beautiful verse with so many alliterations of the word Satya, truth. So he says, Satya Vratam, you are the one of true resolve, because he says that he shall appear, and that's exactly what happens. Whatever is said is exactly as ordained by Bhagavan. Every single activity in this universe happens by his ordainment, and therefore his vow is Satyam, which is truth. Satya Param, he is the transcendent truth as well. Beyond all the activities of the world, the supreme pure consciousness is him, the transcendent truth. Trisatyam, the truth of three states, and three represents past, present, and future. Three represents waking, dream, and deep sleep. Three represents the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. The truth behind all of this is Bhagavan. Satyasya yonim, he is the womb of truth, that is the very source of truth from which truth emanates. Nihitam cha satya, in him all the elements come forth from him. All the five elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space, come from him. Their truth is because of him. Satyasya satyam, he is the truth of all the truthful words. The essential truth that underlies all relative truths is Bhagavan. Ritasatya netram, his vision is truthful. Satyatmakam, and he is the true self of all. Tvam sharanam prapannaha, to him we surrender, he says. And then he beautifully says the next verse in a very poetic way. He describes the universe as a tree, and he says this tree has one ground, which is Prakriti, which is the material energy of the Lord. It has two fruits in the form of pleasure and pain. It has three roots in the form of the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. It has four kinds of sap, that is, four kinds of taste that comes out of the tree, which are the four arthas, that is, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, that is, religious merit, wealth, sensual pleasure, and beatitude or liberation. It has five modes of perception, which is the five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. It has six states, this tree, he says, and these six states are birth, existence, growth, old age, decay, and destruction. It has seven layers of barks, this tree, and this represents the seven constituents of the body, which is skin, blood, muscle, fat, bone, marrow, and the generative fluid. It has eight branches, he says, and the eight branches are the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space, and mind, reason, and ego, mana, buddhi, ahankara. And then it is said to have nine hollows. This tree has nine hollows, which represent the nine apertures or the nine openings in the body, which are the two eyes, the two ears, the two nostrils, one mouth, and the two organs of urination and defecation. So the seven openings, the nine openings are the nine hollows of this tree, and the 10 leaves of the tree are the 10 pranas, which is the 10 types of airs: prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, naga, kurma, krikala, devadatta, dhananjaya. So beautifully he describes from 1 to 10. One ground, two fruits, three roots, four saps, five modes of perception, six states, seven layers of bark, eight branches, nine hollows, and 10 leaves. And all of that correspond to all the various symbolisms mentioned. And it has two birds sitting on this tree. One is the apparent individual, and the other is the supreme Paramatma, the true self of all. So this whole symbolism represents the whole nature of creation. The creation is this, compared to this tree, this body, and this universe. And within the body, in the heart, is the I thought, which is the identification with the body and mind as the individual. And there is the eternal witness, who is the pure soul, Paramatma. So these are the two birds in the tree, which is also given in the Upanishad. So it's a beautiful simile coming from the Upanishad. So Brahma says, this is the nature of this universe. And he says, you are the cause of this universe, this tree of this universe with its Prakriti. You are the resting place. He says, Tvam eka eva asya sataha prasutis-tvam sannidhanam tvam anugrahascha. You are the sannidhanam. You are the resting place of this tree, and you bestow grace on this tree. You alone are the only truth behind this whole tree. So this tree has so many varieties. We saw 1 through 10, and it has, of course, infinite diverse manifestations. But this entire infinite diverse universe is coming out of one source, and that source is Bhagavan. So he addresses him and says, you are the one source of all. this entire tree, and you are pure consciousness who takes on various forms in order to bestow delight to the righteous and remove the wicked. So, another verse that is there in the Gita which refers to this, where Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So, to protect the saintly and to remove the evil minded and to establish dharma, I appear in each epoch, each yuga. So, that is what is referred to here. Brahma says, you appear every time in different ways. Now you have appeared in your full potency as Narayana, as Krishna, and you have appeared in every epoch in different avatars. Each time you have brought delight with the various forms you have taken, and you have protected the saintly and annihilated the evil. And now you have come in your original form, and we are only waiting to see all your wonderful pastimes. And therefore, he says, those who are able to fix their mind on you, O lotus-eyed Lord, he says, O Arvindaksha, such a beautiful name for Krishna. Arvindaksha means one with lotus eyes. He says, one who is able to fix their mind on your form in which you appear, they can easily cross the ocean of mundane existence. They can easily cross the ocean of mundane existence like the hoof print of a calf. So he says, the focusing with devotion and love on your very form is enough to cross this ocean of mundane existence. And not only that, such beings leave behind your glory through stories and names and their own life, these Bhagavatas, that others can also hold on to that as a vessel and cross this. And this is how, generation after generation, people are able to cross over this ocean of mundane existence through love of your very form and name. On the other hand, he says, those who are simply intellectually understanding the truth, but who do not have this love in their heart, they are not able to perceive your truth, and they are also prone to falling down from their state. It's very important instruction by Brahma here. He says again, Ye anya aravindaksha vimukta maninah tvayi astabhavad avishuddha buddhayah. Because even though they consider themselves to be enlightened because of their intellectual understanding, they do not have abiding love in you. They do not recognize you as the source, and they do not have their heart opened in love. And because of that, their heart is impure. And therefore, he says, even if they touch something, they fall down. Aruhya kritshrena parampadam tataha patanti adho. They fall down even if they glimpse the truth, because they are anadruta yushmad angrayah. They have not glorified your lotus feet, they have not opened their heart to love, and therefore they are unable to see the truth, or even if they see it, they are unable to abide in it. And on the other hand, those who are devoted to you, those who are unconditionally loving you and see you in one and all, and therefore love everyone with unconditional acceptance and compassion, they are always protected by you, and they cross over all obstacles. And therefore, he says, you come and reveal yourself in all these forms for people to easily cross over, and also to people, for them to engage in various practices. They can take your name, they can take your form, they can sing about you, they can talk about you, they can engage in various activities which are possible only because of your appearance. And therefore, he says, if you do not manifest in this way, then it's very difficult for people to cross over this ocean of diversity. Even if there is intellectual understanding, again, as he says, it doesn't reach the heart, because your manifest appearance on earth is what brings out the living devotion as well as the teachings themselves. So Bhagavad Gita comes because of Krishna coming forth in this avatar, in descending as himself. And then Bhagavatam has come forth because of all the various pastimes of Krishna and the various devotees. And all of this is helping for thousands of years, and it has brought forth so many art forms, music, plays, songs, so on, and thereby millions of people over generations are benefiting from it. So, had you not appeared in this way, none of that would be possible. And therefore, he says, all your names and forms are so glorious. Though you are truly without any name and form, you come and give these names and forms so beautifully, because your true name and your true form cannot be known by the mind. It is transcendental, and therefore you come out of your compassion to give a name and form which is non different from you, and thereby people are able to hold on to you. And we are so happy that the burden of earth is going to be removed because of your descent. And so we are only waiting for all your pastimes to unfold. So here Brahma, through these instructions, through these prayers, in fact, to Bhagavan, instructs us in terms of how to understand the appearance of Bhagavan. There is a verse in Gita again where Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti. So Arjuna, he says, one who understands my birth and activities correctly, he is instantly liberated and he attains me. So the way to correctly understand it is what Brahma is giving for all of us through his prayers. He says, if we understand that he is transcendental, his name and form is beyond understanding by the senses and the intellect, and yet he comes, descends, gives this name and form and all the activities in order to create devotion in the hearts of people, and that devotion and love makes the wisdom flower effortlessly, by which people are able to realize your true nature, the transcendent being, and attain your eternal abode. So, this is the mystery of avatar. And he says finally that you have already appeared in so many avatars, and now we are waiting for what you are going to do in this full avatar, Purna avatar. He says here, he lists all the avatars. He says, Matsya, Ashwa, Kachapa, Narsingha, Varaha, Hamsa, Rajan, Vipra, Vibhudeshu, Krita Avataraha. Matsya means the fish form. We saw that. And then Ashwa is the horse, which is the Hayagriva. Kachapa is the tortoise or Kurma avatar. Narsingha is the man lion, the glorious avatar who protected Prahalad. Varaha is the boar, the wild boar. And then Rajan refers to Rama. And then Vipra, the Brahman avatar, refers to Parashurama, who appeared as the son of Jamadagni. And Vibhudeshu is the appearance as a demigod, which is Vamana. So Vamana, he appeared as the brother of Indra, who is a demigod, and therefore as if like a demigod, though the supreme being, he appeared in that form as well. So we can see how, starting from a simple fish all the way up to a demigod, he has appeared in all the forms, and now he is come in his original form. And so therefore Brahma says, you've come in this original form, and we are only eager to see all your wonderful pastimes. And then he addresses Devaki, who is there, and says, O Mother Devaki, you are so fortunate in that the Supreme Lord has entered your womb with all his potencies. Now let there be no more fear of Kamsa, no more fear of anyone. You are blessed indeed. So this is why there are so many songs that bless Devaki and Yashoda, who will be later seen in the next chapter. But Devaki is so blessed because she is the mother of Krishna, and Krishna is eternally called as Devaki Nandana because of being the son of Devaki. So thus glorifying the Supreme Being, and also thereby instructing all of us, and also thereby telling Devaki and Vasudeva how fortunate they are to have the Supreme Being as their son. It is said that Brahma, heading all the Devas, returns to his abode. And with this chapter ends. Now we are on the cusp of Bhagavan's advent, which is the next chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.